Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are running into our favorite video each and every weekday, our player props video, to end the week here with you guys on a 10-game NBA slate. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you as well. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page and check out those other couple game videos we have for you on this big slate tonight. And also head over to thelines.com. Check out that player props tool we have up for you there. Make sure you're finding the best odds available on all those NBA props today. And also head over to play.thelines.com. That is where we are giving you guys an opportunity to win a $25 Amazon gift card every day that there's NBA games. Head over to that NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge on that website there, and you will find the ability to get all those games right, and then we will shell out that $25 gift card to whomever is able to do so. So make sure you're checking that out, have some fun, make some money with us on that. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's player props. Nate, let's get into it.
Okay, so blowouts doomed us last night. Anybody who took things in the Sixers Nets game, because the Nets just completely obliterated them in three quarters. But I'm hoping that the Pistons continue their streak of not getting blown out, and I'm going to take Jason Tatum tonight. The Pistons are actually 8-0-1, 8-0-1, yes, against the spread in their last 9. They have a push in there. They've been very competitive. They actually beat the Celtics to start that stretch. Yep. I think the Celtics will be in bounce back mode after getting played tough by them, and Tatum should lead the way at home. Even if they do handle business, they've won pretty handily and covered in 3 straight home games, and he scored 41.3 points per game with a 128 offensive rating on a 39% usage rate in those games. In 6 home games since the trade deadline, when the Celtics really took off, 34.7 points, 4.5 assists, 35% usage, getting to the line 9 times a game. Detroit allows the second most free throw attempts per game. Detroit is 29th in 3-point defense, also allows the 8th most assists per game. So as long as they're somewhat in this game, Tatum should be dictating things, piling up stats. The 28.5 points is pretty exploitable if he gets a full slate of run. 33.5 points and assists actually gets you much better odds. That's right around his average in terms of getting the 5 assists. I think the Pistons will be a little eager to try to get the ball out of his hands, and that will probably result in some good looks for his teammates. The Celtics are doing an amazing job as a team of moving the ball, and they have a great assist-to-turnover ratio. They have the best offensive rating in basketball in their last 10, and Tatum is the engine that makes that all go.
Yeah. The recently offensively revived and defensively devived, whatever. They're much better on offense nowadays. The Boston Celtics, that even in their last 6, which is what I was looking at recently, just because Detroit's 4-2 in their last 6. You mentioned 8-0-1 their last 9 against the spread. Straight up in their last 6, they've won 4 of them. They're a much better team. You mentioned how they beat Boston last time out. And Boston has, like you said, they've shot up in the offensive ratings there. And in Detroit, still in the middle of the pack with their offensive ratings, still bottom with their defensive. So yeah, reason to think of points there. And Tatum's killing it. It's Tatum at home right now. Let's just pick him, right?
Yeah. And Detroit did just force DeRozan to go, I think, for 12 points in the fourth quarter for the Bulls to pull that one out. So, a similar kind of MVP situation for Tatum. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I'm with it for sure. Another guy that we do like to pick a lot here when we can is Trae Young. It's Trae Day tonight for sure, as we've got the Hawks. Who are they taking on there? I already forgot. How did I already forget that?
At home against the Clips.
Thank you. That's why, yeah. So the Clips, look, a pretty good defensive team all season, not good against point guards. So I think we've got some exploitability here for Trae. 26.5 points is his prop there, sitting at minus 125 on FanDuel. Obviously, they seem to expect him to do that. You could also get 30 in the W there. It's the Hawks at home. They score a lot of points, but either way, getting the W isn't necessarily what I'm too worried about. I think 26.5 feels right for Trae. In his last 7 at home specifically, 36 a game with 10 assists, shooting a ridiculous 60% from the field and 53% from deep there. That usage rate still super high at about 36% for him in those last 7 at home, with an individual offensive rating about 137. So our guy is definitely going off specifically at home as well. I mean, you go all the way back to December for him at home, and he's still got incredible splits of 51-44, shooting 31 or making 31 points a game there. And he's getting to the line as well, which I really like. We always love to look for that for Trey when he's getting those easy buckets or, at the free throw line or that little floater, etc. Love to see that he's able to get into the lane, which he's able to do against the Clippers the last time they played them at home. We're talking 38 points for Trey, 11 for 11 from the free throw line. And as I said, Clippers good on defense all season long, to be honest, but against point guards, they have not been as good as they allow the most points to their opponent point guards. And then it's about more than 3 threes made a game as well for those point guards playing against the Clips in their last 15. And in their last 3 games alone, point guards are shooting 40% from deep against the Clips, which is obviously great for a guy like Trae Young, who, if he's making that 3 ball, is also then able to break teams down and get into the lane, get those free throws. I think 26.5 points is a great prop for him tonight when he's, like we said, averaging 36 plus in his last 7 at home.
Yeah, and that same number is minus 115 at DraftKings. So that's exactly what we use the prop finder for at thelines.com, to just quickly search that and say, oh, I'm getting much better odds at this site. Maybe I should have an account there, or vice versa. And yeah, get the best juice you can. But I think, Trey could easily go for 30 plus in this game. The Clippers, they've lapsed defensively at times. They still have good overall defensive numbers because they get up for games like playing the Lakers twice since the All-Star break. But otherwise, they're not really consistently competitive this season necessarily, as they kind of wait for PG and Kawhi to come back next year. But the Wolves have been playing really well lately, still playing at a blistering pace though, and giving up plenty of points. So I am looking at some Magic players tonight, specifically Cole Anthony, as a point guard against a team that gives up the 2nd most points per game and the 4th most rebounds per game to point guards in their last 30. Minnesota, we know what they do on the road, right? They give up about 116 points per game, 3rd fastest pace, 2nd fastest pace overall since the All-Star break, and Orlando's actually 4th in pace since the All-Star break. Not scoring a lot, but they've played some really tough defenses, Phoenix, Memphis, and other really good D, and that's why Cole Anthony's numbers have been down a little bit, but you still look over his last 12, he's exactly at this prop of 25.5 PRA. He's got 16 points, 4.7 rebounds, 4.6 assists over that span. And early in the season when he faced Minnesota, he went for 31, 9, and 8. While going 6 for 11 from deep, put a plus 19 on the board, had a nice 29% usage rate for 2nd straight time out against the Wolves. This is a Wolves team that gives up the most assists per game on the road, and Anthony, who's been struggling to put up those peripheral stats lately, but has been scoring about 15, 16 points per game. I just think he gets enough dimes, enough boards, the way that this game is played with pace, to get you over that prop.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with the pace being a huge reason for it. Playing the Wolves, I think it's a good time to target that. We found the moments to hit the Magic players. I think we know when we can stay away and when we can expect there to be at least an explosion of points in their games, as that has been the case a lot more lately after starting the season as the most sluggish team possibly. They've definitely been a little bit easier to score on and getting a few more points as well. So everything's sort of picking up for them. And I think Cole is a good bet to get fill up all of those stats tonight against the really bad Wolves defense, especially on the road there. Lastly, I'm going to a guy here in a game that I don't think is going to be very fun to watch, to be honest, the Raptors and the Suns. But I do think this could lead to some choppiness and some boarding, specifically for Deandre Ayton on the Suns. I like him, more than I necessarily like Book, although if you were going to take a Book prop in this one, 5.5 assists is also a really pretty nice value there when he's averaging more than 8 assists a game when the Suns play without CP3, which is obviously the case tonight. So you consider that one, but diving into Ayton a little bit more and his points and rebounds, we sit at 27.5 at minus 125 on DraftKings. I think that's a better bet than taking on FanDuel. You can get 28 8.5 points, rebounds, and assists, which is one more, but you only get about minus 120 on your odds. So not much more juice there for another to add an extra stat. I would just go ahead and head to DraftKings for this particular points and rebounds for Ayton. Since the All-Star break, we're talking 20 points, 8.5 boards a game in that time frame. That includes 2 stinkers and blowout win versus Portland, and just a really crappy overall bad game against the Knicks that they had to come back and they actually needed him off the floor, as they needed to get Mitchell Robinson and the other bigs for the Knicks off the floor as well. So he didn't quite get the minutes or the usage rate that you would like for him. But those 2 games aside, that all his stats go up, and now we're talking about 22 and 10.5 boards since the All-Star break. So I think this is a game where, yes, it's going to be choppy, which I think will lead to rebounds. It's not going to be super fun to watch because the Raptors know they're going to have to muck it up if they're going to hang with the Suns tonight, especially without OG playing tonight. So there's one less offensive threat for them. And so I think that, like I said, a lot of rebounds available. Without CP3 this season, Ayton does get 18 points a game, which is 2 more than he averages when CP3 plays, and 8.5 rebounds at home this season. He also gets an extra point a game versus on the road. So he's at about 17 and a 10 on the road, at home. The Raptors, they're the 9th worst rebounding team on the road. That is where you can score on them, and giving up, paint points, giving up second chance points as well, bottom half of the league and all those stats as well. So I think Ayton will have the opportunity to get some offensive rebounds, which is always helpful, and then get some points back up there and handle his props are sitting slightly below what his averages are in these types of scenarios. But I think it's also a situation where, like I said, with all those scenarios combined, no CP3 being at home, etc., I think that this is a good opportunity for him to get 28 points and rebounds combined.
Yeah, which he's done in now 3 straight road games without Booker for 2 of those. He's been featured much more. Despite posting a pretty low usage rate against the Heat, still cleared that. The Raptors are kind of the same ugly defensive-minded team. He put up 25 points, rebounds when they met last time out, played 30 minutes. But I think that I'm less worried about the Raptors playing him off the floor with a small ball lineup without OG. There'd be more Chris Boucher, who's a quick guy, but he's not necessarily an impossible cover for Ayton. He's not really shooting well from downtown right now. So I think Ayton will be able to stay on the floor. And when he's out there, he's double-double machine. He put up 40 points and rebounds at Orlando. I just little bonus pick there. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have his props up yet with Anthony Edwards questionable, but if Ayton got 40, I think Cat's probably going to clear his props tonight. When you see those come up, look for those against Orlando.
Yep. No, I'm with it for sure. It's going to be a pretty decent slate tonight. I don't love all the games, but I think there's definitely some exploitable opportunities. So we will be having fun with that. And that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Check out those other couple of game videos we have up for you today on this big slate to end the week. And until we see you next, happy betting.